Friends of Honorable Kennedy Japan, a German-based philanthropic group, has donated 100 brand new gas burners to Honorable Kennedy Japan for onward distribution to those affected adversely by the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic in Ghana. The donation was made at a brief presentation ceremony in Accra by the leader of the Friends for Ken Group in Germany, Mrs. Susanna Koch, also known as Amagana, on Saturday. Speaking at the presentation ceremony, Mrs. Susanna Koch said the items were to be distributed to the frontline workers in the line of duty and urged all citizens to do well to abide by the laid-down protocols to help fight the pandemic.
Inti se ya supporto amma papa yi amwa amma corona no amfiri ni pabinu abraboma ebeye awrewosem enti ekuo Friends of Kennedy Japan ye keka ye nsabo mu se ye kita stove yi binu ebe ma Kennedy onsom ohene je stove yi na chama wa teacherfo ene school fo asabe omuhie ja anu ansuhie ede akọ coronavirus yade no esan se yare eti mu eden na yare nye na dwense obekonti no Friends of Ken fo so yayire ye ho se kwan bi aso no ye beboa ye nua be ma ama wotimi aso yade no ti achi aso yare na wo ho de mestre ne sa adofo na amoma me amaga na me gina ha me kasai yare no wo ho me be kura no enye nyame abi kura na nkam so kura menya bi se nyame nanim nanso minim se nyame ntimi nya bi.
She reiterated the group's support for Honorable Kennedy Japan and his benevolent activities to the vulnerable and his leadership role in the Guinean society.
Honorable Ken hu hia Ghana mai pa. Esa se ne hu hia nti ye adoya yenhwe. Ye adoya ma papa na yenhwe. Eti misre ekuo bia ya te ne Kennedy din mu na Japan din mu se. Misra mo fa no kredie ahobrase entikuo no. Ye mpesa papa ne din besai. Because any bebre carbon fan on nanso so wohwe niam a ekoso e wo papa na braboma mo a obi carbon fan on mo no na obi nso so ade nhira ene adom ebra no ye na doye.
Receiving the items on behalf of Honorable Kennedy Japan, Kenneth Japan Jr., the director of NET2 television, expressed his gratitude and appreciation for the support by the group.
On behalf of Honorable Kennedy Japan and Kennedy Foundation, we want to thank Amagana and Friends of Ken for what they have done this afternoon, because she called a couple of weeks ago. It's not something like she just woke up, like it's something they've been planning and whatnot. So we want to thank them, and then we're actually going to give it to the teachers and whoever is needed so that it can help them in everything that they're doing. So again, stepping in for Honorable Kennedy Japan, I want to thank you so much for the donation of the 100 stovetops.
The members of the Friends of Ken Group Germany, who shared their thoughts with NET2 TV, pleaded with all to continue to abide by the laid-down protocols and kept some antisocial behaviors to help fight the pandemic in Ghana. They also called on Ghanaians globally to keep supporting the vulnerable, especially in these times.
Corona no rare. Enyetro ena yedi ewo ho pa. Enti mesre almost sanitizer any nose mask no ehia omo pa na fei magro obema bi wono mo a bi kura make no obi enso unim endi o se wo pena na wudi nachi na wakwa konya yade enti mesre omo se ne covid asi aba no omo mape ne obrabone no omo suspend ne kakra na yentimi enhu kwan a yebefa so a yebetimi akio covid no na covid no rare pa.
Friends of Ken ma ye o ma doye e ma nyanka awisia ni ehumobro obi a esese yehunu ni mobo eti ene ka ye ma me akoma ene Friends of Ken ma nyina akoma ene etu anamo a ye ya doye ti so wo kuonum na se ye ya doye a yesro mamputi kitso bia benya bia no fabra.
Latest data released by the Bank of Ghana indicate that some selected real sector pointers showed progress in economic activity during the third quarter of 2020 when compared with trends observed during the same period in 2019. The relative pickup in real sector activity was mainly due to a gradual recovery from the adverse effects of the novel coronavirus outbreak. Giving more details, the Bank of Ghana quarterly bulletin for July to September 2020 stated that economic indicators such as consumer spending, vehicle registration, industry consumption of electricity, and port activities went up, but tourist arrivals declined during a review of the quarter, mainly as a result of the closure of the borders and the lockdown. Consumer spending, measured by domestic VAT collections and retail sales, improved in the third quarter of 2020 compared with figures recorded in the corresponding period of 2019. Retail sales increased by 45.7% to 286.86 million Ghana cedis during the third quarter of 2020 from 196.86 million recorded in the corresponding quarter of 2019. The comparative improvement in retail sales could be attributed to increased household consumption during the review period. The report also showed that manufacturing-related activities, as measured by trends in the collection of direct taxes and private sector workers' contributions to the NET pension scheme, posted a positive outturn during the third quarter of 2020 compared with what was observed in the same period of 2019. Total taxes collected increased by 14.4% year-on-year to 5,278 million Ghana cedis in the third quarter of 2020, relative to 4,613 million Ghana cedis recorded for the third quarter of 2019. Total direct tax collected for the quarter under review also grew by 5.2% from 5,015 million Ghana cedis collected in the second quarter of 2020, the statement added. Transport-related economic activities measured by vehicle registration by the DVLA improved by 32.9% to 51,703 in the third quarter of 2020 compared to 38,903 vehicles registered during the corresponding quarter of 2019. Similarly, the number of vehicles registered during the review period increased by 23.5% relative to 41,879 vehicles recorded in the second quarter of 2020. The data also showed consumption of electricity by industries went up by 13.3% during the third quarter of 2020 compared with the corresponding period of 2019. The relative improvement in the electricity consumed by industries could be attributed to stability in power supply coupled with a rebound in industrial activity following the initial impact of the coronavirus pandemic. It also reported that economic activities at the country's two main ports, Tema and Takoradi, recorded an improvement during the third quarter of 2020 compared with what was observed in the corresponding quarter of 2019. However, tourist arrivals into the country fell sharply by 89.3% in the third quarter of last year. Total of 32,602 tourists entered the country during the review period as against 304,601 visitors received in the third quarter of 2019. The decline in tourist arrivals was mainly due to the travel restrictions in the fight against the COVID-19 outbreak during the first 2 months of the quarter.
A small Nigerian Air Force passenger plane crashed just outside Abuja Airport after reporting engine failure on Sunday, killing all 7 people on board, the Air Force has stated. The plane, a Beechcraft Kane Air 350I, was on its way to the city of Minna, 110 kilometers northwest of the capital, Air Force spokesman Ibikunle Daramoli said in a statement. The aircraft crashed while returning to the Abuja airport after reporting engine failure, said Daramoli. First responders are at the scene. Sadly, all 7 personnel on board died in the crash. The Chief of the Air Force has ordered an investigation into the incident, Daramoli indicated. President Buhari in a statement sent his condolences to the Air Force and families of the victims, saying he was deeply saddened by the fatal crash. In a scrubland just outside the airport perimeter, dozens of military and airport officials picked through the charred remnants of the fuselage as fire engines and and ambulances stood by. The smell of burning chemicals lingered in the air, but no fire or smoke were visible. Onlookers watched the rescue efforts from behind a cordon. Visuals of the crash site show black clouds of smoke over parts of the shattered plane. Witnesses told local media they saw the plane struggling to turn around and get back to the airport before the plane exploded. The Air Force did not provide the identities of those killed in the crash. The Beechcraft Kane Air 350I is a twin-propeller aircraft made by Textron Aviation, a unit of the US-based Textron Inc. conglomerate. The model was first released around 2009. The company said in a statement that it had been notified of the accident, which is said to be investigated by Nigeria's Aircraft Investigation Bureau and the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board. In a related development, United Airlines says it is grounded 24 of its Boeing 777 aircraft after one of its jets suffered engine failure after takeoff on Saturday. The plane, carrying 231 passengers and 10 crew, were forced to return to Denver Airport. No injuries were reported. Debris from the jet was found scattered over a nearby residential area. In response to the incident, Japan has asked all airlines using Boeing 777s with the same Pratt & Whitney 4000 engine to avoid its airspace. Boeing said it supported Japan's decision and has recommended suspending operations of all 777s with the same engine while investigation into the incident continues. The manufacturer says there are 69 Boeing 777s currently in service worldwide with this engine. According to the Federal Aviation Administration (FAA), United is the only U.S. airline flying such planes, with the others being in Japan and South Korea. United Flight 328 bound for Honolulu suffered a failure in its right-hand engine, the FAA said. The agency has ordered extra inspections of Boeing 777 jets fitted with a Pratt & Whitney 4000 engine following the incident.
Ghana has, through the Ministry of Health, granted approval for the registration and use of Russia's Sputnik V coronavirus vaccine to fight against the pandemic in the country. The approval was granted under an emergency use authorization announced by the Russian Direct Investment Fund (RDIF) on Saturday. Ghana will now become the 31st country to use the Russian vaccine and the 5th nation to do so on the African continent. CEO of the Russian Direct Investment Fund, Kirill Dmitriev, in a statement explained, Ministry of Health of Ghana has thoroughly reviewed the data on safety and efficacy of Sputnik V, also proven by publication in The Lancet, and approved the use of the vaccine. Meanwhile, the efficacy of Russian Sputnik V vaccine is 91.6%, the Russian Direct Investment Fund has published on its website. It's said to be one of only 3 vaccines in the world with an efficacy of over 90%. Last Friday, Ghana's Health Ministry at a press briefing reiterated plans to vaccinate some 20 million Ghanaians once the COVID-19 vaccines become available. Additionally, Ghana is in line to receive a total of 2,412,000 doses of coronavirus vaccine under the COVAX platform. According to the Health Minister-designate, Kwekwajiman Menu, Ghana will also be supplied with the AstraZeneca or Oxford vaccine, licensed to Serum Institute of India. This was also confirmed by the Chief Executive Officer of the Food and Drugs Authority, Dilis Mimi Darko, at a recent forum.
This is just to assure you that the Food and Drugs Authority has used what we call the emergency use authorization pathway to authorize the 2 vaccines that we have at the moment. That is the Covishield, is the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine manufactured by Serum Institute of India, and what you call the Sputnik V, which is manufactured by a company in Russia. Now, emergency use authorization is a pathway that we use. That pathway is just to ensure that a needed medical product, especially in a pandemic, is made available in a timely manner. So the only thing that is different in emergency use is that we do it quickly. We have not bypass any safety or efficacy standards that we would normally look out for. We just ensure that we do it faster so that the product can be made available in a quick and timely manner.
Ghana has become the 31st country in the world and 5th state of Africa to register Sputnik V. Sputnik V is one of the world's top 3 coronavirus vaccines in terms of the #1 of approvals issued by government regulators.